Hey everybody, welcome. All right, so in tonight's live, we are continuing on with the owner's mindset. However, in this third series, we are really focusing on the mindset of my time has a price tag, it's super valuable, and that price tag is not cheap. And this is super important. I'm gonna move my glasses because I think you guys are getting a bit of a glare. So it's super important for you to understand as you're building along your entrepreneurial journey that your time is a very important part at the beginning of your success. It's a very important part. When I say that, it's about how you utilize it. Your time itself, super important. Now, it will always be important, but the farther you go, the more your business is built, right? The further and further away that you get from money coming in and not attached to your time. But we want to start with that foundation to begin with. So when you talk about your time and your time not being cheap, first thing I want you to think about is this. I don't know what you are selling today, if you are selling anything. If you are selling something, just take a second and think about what it takes for you to make a sale, whatever that is. Now, for me and in the accelerator, we primarily deal with service-based businesses at premium prices. So let's just use that for an example. So let's assume that you have got an offer that you are selling, and that offer is $1,500. And you know that there is some activity that you have to do daily to be able to get in front of the right people who are fit for what you want to talk to, get them in some level of a conversation, and be able to make that sale. Now, knowing that that is the case, when you stop and think, how should I be spending my time? And what's the most valuable use of my time? You start to weigh the decisions of, all right, am I going to sit down and catch up on the episodes that I have missed for Real Housewives of Atlanta for the next 10 hours? Or do I need to be spending my time doing this revenue generating activity? Because 1 hour spent over here could cost me $1,500, $3,000, whatever it is. So does that just make sense? So as you're thinking about your time and the price tag on it, it's easy for us to equate, especially when you're new on the entrepreneurial journey. Well, because it's me, I'm just putting in my time. I'm just doing this. It's just me. It feels free. Well, when your mindset is, I own the creation of my income. I am the one who's going to ensure that the income comes in. Then you think about your time in terms of what revenue could be created for me, right? For my family, for this, in this space of time. And don't get it confused, because I'm not saying that you are in a trading time for money situation, because that's what you are doing in your 9 to 5. You are going to have to try to elevate your thinking a little bit and think about it as, even if you were taking the time to say, well, how might I want to change out my client acquisition strategy, right? And when I say client acquisition strategy, I'm just saying, hey, how am I getting clients? Maybe you spent an hour to do that and tweak some things. There are some of you out there that have product-based businesses and that type of thing. Even taking a second to step back and say, okay, well, let me see how, for my customers that are coming through today, how can I increase their lifetime value? How can I get them to come back and repeat purchase? That's an hour of time that is super valuable. Now, you compare what can be generated with an hour that is spent that way, as opposed to an hour that's spent, or 2 or 3 or 4, catching up, right? Real Housewives or whatever it is. I'm not picking on Real Housewives because I'm a fan. But you just start to understand that my time isn't free. And that really is a mental attitude, okay? It is a mental thing. But it's something that you're going to have to master as you want to go on the entrepreneurial journey, as people will come to you to say, hey, let's do this, let's go here, let's do that. As much as it is about freedom, because it is about freedom, right? And it's important that you have freedom on your journey. You're doing this, you're building your business so that you can have a life of freedom and a life of choice to do whatever you want to, whenever you want to, absolutely without a doubt. But you have to understand and begin to set yourself up so that when you are spending your time, you are intentional with making sure that it's going to provide you a return, right? A return while you're sleeping, a return while you're on vacation, whatever that is. Your time is valuable. So when people ask you to take your time or do things like that, you have to understand, what's my opportunity cost? Best way I can say it. But for those of you who are taking this mindset right now, this mindset of, yeah, my time is valuable. No, my time is not cheap. I need to protect it and do amazing things that help create my ROI in the future. Okay. So for those of you that don't know me, just to start with a quick introduction, because we always have new people who have joined on for the first time. So my name is Candace Spears. I'm a life and business coach. I am a serial entrepreneur. I am a real estate investor. I am the host in this community. And above all things, I am huge on ownership and owning your time, your talent, and your identity, so that in this world, you are making your mark with your impact. But with your impact, you are getting paid to do what you love and just do more of the impactful thing in the world and celebrate your freedom. So I am here live every Thursday. I'm usually only on for about 20 minutes or so, but I'm here live every Thursday. And every month you have the opportunity to say, hey, here's kind of what I want to learn. I'll put out a theme sometimes I won't, but I'm always taking the path of what you all are most interested in talking about, hearing about, learning about here in this community. Now, there was a question, and it just occurred to me right now that I was supposed to answer on this live, and I'm trying to remember who it was from. I think it might have been from Kalisha. I will go back and check, but I believe that the question was around managing multiple calendars. And I wanted to address that in particular here. I'm just checking for some comments here. So I wanted to address that in particular here. And Kalisha, I believe it was you. I will go back and just check the post. But it was a question around just dealing with multiple calendars. How do you handle it? Do you break out a ton of different calendars, that type of thing? And because it had to deal with time, I wanted to bring that here. So when it comes to calendars, I will tell you what I do. So I live and die by my calendar. And if you aren't using a calendar, although I think almost everyone is these days, almost, whether it's paper form or electronic, that's up to you. But I use a central calendar. So because my time is so important, my calendar is broken out into different time blocks. So I know I may need to be on a strategy session with folks. I may need to be doing an office hours thing inside of the accelerator. I will often have people that just want to, hey, let's do a quick coffee about a particular business partnership, that type of thing. I have podcast stuff that's happening. So I use one central calendar, but because, again, I recognize that my time is super valuable and my time is not cheap. And remember, as an entrepreneur that is growing your business, your most important use of your time, I feel like I want to look just as close into the camera as I can. Your most important use of your time is in revenue generating activities. So I understand that, right? Even with a team of folks, I understand that. And so when you look at the calendar, as I have my one central calendar, I try to make sure that my time space is allotted, mostly of which to revenue generating things. That could be checking in on how ad stuff is going, right? Looking through the data, looking at what application costs look like, all these different things that come in with growing a business and maintaining a consistent stream of clients and leads. So I understand that. When I think about the other things, people that want to talk to me about partnerships and that type of thing, I am very cautious about how I spend my time with those types of offers to work together, collaborate, that type of thing. So I have a very small section on Fridays. I think it's like a 2-hour window or an hour and a half or something like that. And because I use Acuity for all of my scheduling, that particular link has a particular time frame. So if somebody wants to talk about something like that, okay, you can have the link for that. And that's got a small time frame. When it's filled, it's filled. So if we're out a few weeks, so be it, because I understand where my focus needs to be. Now, of course, if there's an opportunity that you need to override or what have you, you can do that. But again, it's important that you understand that your time is not cheap, right? And that's up to you to set that and determine that, not anyone else. Okay? All right. So again, my ability to see comments, and I'm just trying
That's
to.
up to you to set that and determine that.
Sorry about that. Okay, now I am seeing comments, so this is great. All right, yes, this is an attitude that is not optional. This mindset is not optional. Well, let me take that back. It is optional, and then you can choose to just let your time be this free thing that you have and that costs you nothing, and because you're doing it, it's not worth much, right? Sometimes people get caught in the trap of, well, if I paid somebody, then okay, now I'm all eyes and not all attentive. But because it was me, oh, I don't worry about it. Again, not a trap that you want to fall into. So you ladies are all on the path of building a business or trying to build a business or wanting to build a business. These are mindsets that you adopt when you really get serious that ownership from creation of your income, right? Of course, owning your time, your talent, all that, your ability to create income, utilizing all these things is going to rest on your realization that your time is critical and how you use it is critical, and that you could be missing opportunities. So think about that opportunity cost if you're not using it properly. Now, last thing I will say before I jump off here, last thing I'm going to say. So for those of you, I had talked some weeks ago about powering your momentum in 2021. And so I put out the 4 options for you. You all have voted, and it looks like growing the Facebook group is the option that you'd like to go through for a workshop. So for those of you who are new and joining and are thinking, what are you even talking about? We talked about powering your momentum in 2021, and I wanted to very specifically do something, especially to help those of you that don't necessarily have business models that fall into the category that we service in the accelerator. So while I spend most of my time in the accelerator with clients in the accelerator, we don't necessarily touch many of you who have product-based businesses and that type of thing. So you have decided that growing a profitable Facebook group is a workshop that you would like for me to do. So I am planning to do that workshop. So that workshop is going to be 147. We have whipped up the link, so I'll give that to you in a second. So it's going to be 147. That's the investment in the workshop. It's going to be a 2-hour live event. So we're going to do that together on Zoom. So it will be interactive. For those of you that have ever done anything with me, I'm very much you learn by doing. So this workshop is going to be very interactive, very doing during the 2 hours that we are together. And the whole aim here is to help you create a Facebook group that allows you to grow your business. It allows you to get clarity into your offer. It allows you to create offers that have people ready to buy before you've even put things together. And it also allows you to begin to control who's coming into your group and how many people are coming into your group and all that type of thing. I say it all the time because it is real. Building a business is systemic. It is not rocket science. It is absolutely systemic. And so you have voted, you have said you want growing the Facebook group. So that is what we are going to do. I will put the link in the comments here after this video is over for you to go ahead and sign up for that. Those of you that wanted to get in there and those of you who didn't, I kind of want to be a little limiting on space, because it is so hands-on. And so I would like people to get the opportunity to talk and get feedback and do some of that during the 2 hours. So if you are interested, I would encourage you to not hesitate. I do not do workshop events often, again, just because most of my time and attention is spent with ladies inside of the accelerator. So with that, if this was valuable to you, just drop a valuable or some kind of emoji that lets me know I didn't waste my time in the last 20 minutes here just bringing you this insight and information. That's always, always, always helpful. And so as we wrap up and as we close here, also for those of you that are new, I'm going to encourage you to just network with the people who are in this group. And sometimes the way networking shows up can be as simple as being vulnerable about something that's going on with you on your journey, because I guarantee you, I promise you, there are other ladies who are experiencing the same thing on this path. So you have this community, you have a group of, we're over 700 now. I'm not even exactly sure what the number is, but I do encourage you to just network with each other. There is strength in having a support system. So you've got the opportunity to do that and do that now. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening and rest of your week. And I'll talk to you soon.